Good, let us start. Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Laurent. I'm very proud to be part of the Co team and I'm delighted to be your host today for this session at Co Expo 2021. This is the second session of day 4, Big Impact, and this is the session for the future of sustainable packaging. Welcome to the session Future Pack. Find sustainable packaging, labels, and more. This session is sponsored and made possible by Better Packaging and ITL. We've been vastly inspired when we got to speak to them first, but I invite you guys to share that excitement today when they get to share their stories themselves. Again, for everybody who just joined, it is also up to you to share who you are. It is also up to you to make the connections. It is up to you to drive the conversation in the chat. And our team will be sharing a lot of content in the chat as well. So always have a look out on the chat. There will be business profiles. There will be additional information. But right now, let's go into what we're going to talk about today. Or let's say not what, but who's going to speak in the session today. Besides me, the head of partnerships, we have Tamsin Lejeune. Tamsin Lejeune is the CEO and founder of Common Objective. We have Melanie Plank. She's the head of content, and she's going to give us an overview on trends. We have Rebecca Percasky, who is going to join virtually, or let's say who's going to join via video, the CEO of Better Packaging. And we're very delighted to have Jimmy Christopher in the group. He's the Group Sustainability Officer at ITL. In the beginning of the session, we're going to get an overview from Melanie Plank, our head of content. She's going to give us some of the trends, or the current trends in the packaging spectrum. And after that, we're going to have a Q&A with Rebecca and with Jimmy. That's going to be led by the CEO of Common Objective, Tamsin Lejeune. And after that, we will do the intro to suppliers. The intro to suppliers is a rapid fire thing where we give each supplier 60 seconds to present themselves, utilizing one of their slides, or let's say utilizing all the information that they have on their co-profiles. And after that, we will then split the group, go into breakout sessions. And in these breakout sessions, you can truly connect with these suppliers. You can speak to them, you can ask your questions, you can ask personal questions, stupid questions, great questions. Just ask whatever you feel like asking. After all, as they say, there are no stupid questions, and we're definitely all about that as well. And these breakout rooms, after they have closed, will then throw us all back into the main session where we'll adjourn. But before we do that, of course, there is a lot to come. When it comes to making the most of Co-Expo, please, as we have here, say who you are. I can't, let's say, repeat that enough. Post questions in the chat, and in the end, connect and bookmark on Co. Because we're very proud that we have actually launched the messaging functionality on Co, where you can now interact with each other, but all about the interaction and all about Co. I think I should rather give the word to Tamsin, who's quickly going to talk about Co and the newest functionalities.
Thank you, Laurent. A pleasure again to be surrounded by so many brilliant people committed to best practice in the fashion industry. Wonderful to see you coming in. I know many of you are already members of Common Objective. If you are, why not check out your landing page on Co? You probably entered in your preferences some time ago, I imagine. You can fix your preferences. So Co is a matching site every time you go to your dashboard. It feeds you content, information, training, connections, individuals, businesses, be those suppliers or buyers relevant to you. And the more correct your preferences are set, so that's the information you enter so that the site can understand you, the better you can update your preferences at the top right of your dashboard. So matching, if you're not on Co, please do join. You can join during this session. It'll allow you to see all the links and access all the links that we're sharing, connect with the companies that we're presenting. Connect a message. You can also create a business profile. So all of the businesses that we're representing today have business profiles on Co. You can create it for free as a brand, whether you're a brand or a supplier. It really works for you to have a profile on Co if you're sourcing through the platform also, because then suppliers can see who you are and what you're looking for. And you have the opportunity to participate in the awards. All you need to do to be an applicant for the CO Awards is to create a business profile. You're automatically entered. It's our mission to get as many businesses as possible achieving our leadership award standard. So we have a top target rather than a minimum that we can allow. So yeah, deadline for the awards is the 31st of October, and we'll tell you more about that. And finally, all sorts of content on CO. You can use a search button and find just about anything, an answer to a lot of the things. And we're also very pleased to have partners for this session and others that are going to help us to create more content that solves the problems and the questions you ask. Thank you. So I'm going to now pass over to Melanie, who's our Director of Content, who's going to share some of the relevant trends and issues in the packaging space.
Thanks, Tamsin. Hello, everyone. Nice to join you again for a very kind of quick snapshot of some of the packaging trends that have been making the news within fashion. So first up, some statistics to give some context. So we're certainly seeing the results of a massive rise in online sales since the pandemic began, as I'm sure nobody's surprised by. I mean, consumers are spending 76% more on online shopping than in 2019, according to Business Next Door. Meanwhile, in the UK, Royal Mail's profits surged by 400% in the last financial year alone. So this is obviously going to have a knock-on effect when it comes to packaging waste. In the US, for example, 30% of municipal solid waste is attributed to discarded packaging and containers. The good news is that in 2020, global survey by Accenture found that since the start of the pandemic, 60% of consumers were making purchase decisions based on environmental or sustainability reasons. And this means that ensuring products are sustainable and ethical is no longer an added extra for most sectors, and that includes packaging. Brands that are greening their packaging include Gucci, which is on the left here, which debuted a striking green embossed paper and card design this year, which will be used in stores and through online sales for its gift collection. And the decorative pattern is interesting because it's embossed onto the surface of the packaging, which reduces the amount of ink needed to create the packaging. And the paper and cardboard comes from sustainably managed forests and is uncoated to make sure it is fully recyclable. And when it comes to tackling the scourge of poly bags, Swedish menswear brand Asket is showing how it can be done. After a great deal of research, they have successfully switched to using glassine, a smooth and glossy paper that is air, water, and grease resistant. And these new bags are FSC certified, renewable, and can be recycled easily. Another benefit is that they are transparent, which allows the product hang tags to be scanned through the bag and eliminating the need for barcode stickers. They have also managed to make a cost saving of approximately 50 cents on boxes and mailers per item. So if you're interested in finding out more, I really recommend checking out their website because they have got the whole journey written out. It's a really interesting blog on their site. And when they go through all the kind of decision making they made along the way and the choices they made, you know, the options they discounted, etc. So really interesting. And it's also worth noting that Mara Hoffman, she also has switched to using glassine for her poly bags as a replacement for poly bags in 2020 as well. So that's something to look out for. And the last one, which is a fun one, I love this. This is from Petit Pli, the sustainable fashion brand. This packaging can be turned, as you can see, into a rocket, something playful for kids to enjoy. So the idea of repurposing packaging rather than necessarily immediately recycling it, I think is a lovely idea as well. So that's just a very, very brief snapshot of packaging to get us started. But now I'm going to hand back over. Tamsin, am I handing over to you?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Thank you, Melanie. And yes, I'm pleased to invite into the room two absolute experts in the packaging space. So we're going to hear first from Jimmy Christopher, who's a Group Sustainability Officer for ITL. And having spoken to him earlier, I know he is a mine of knowledge. So if you want to know about sustainable packaging, this is your chance. Post your questions and make sure you're in his breakout group. But before we do that, please, Jimmy, tell us a bit more about ITL and what makes you stand out.
Thanks, Tamsin. Awesome to be here and just to have an audience to actually have a chat about something that's so important. And I think Melanie hit a few points nicely about the recyclability stuff, which is great. So ITL as a company, we aim to be a strategic partner for labels and packaging, as opposed to just a supplier in the general meaning of the word supplier. We try to do this by having, so we have our locations at needlepoint around the world to try to be as close to possible as brands, to try to cut down logistics and the environmental impact of that. And then we have teams in North America, UK, and Asia with our specific global expertise to give like a personal customer service and advice to our customers, so that when we start a conversation with our customers, we want to know what your sustainability goals are, because we can help you achieve them. We obviously have our own ones, but if we're not aligned with them, it's quite difficult to also get there. And I think having that conversation in terms of your packaging and label designs early on is important, because if your brand's goals are about water reduction or they're about GHG reductions, then choosing organic cotton or choosing recycled polyester mean completely different things. For us, what we think is like one of our main USPs is trying to make sustainability accessible. It can often be a bit overwhelming. So we have a redesign tool called Intelligent that helps to reduce waste costs. And basically, if you're reducing waste, you're reducing materials. And if you are reducing materials, you have less environmental impact. So we aim to try to give our customers the science-based data to inform their design decisions.
Thank you. I wonder if could you tell us a little bit more about your products and services and what you cover? So
in terms of labels and packaging, there's what you can see on screen is a hang tag example that I'll just take you through, where we've used our service called Intelligent on this one for a South African customer. So I'm in Cape Town at the moment, but our main marketing office is based in the UK, but the company was started in South Africa a number of years ago and then expanded. And then doing woven and care labels is also a big part of the business, but then also trying to give guidance and almost a consulting type of approach to the other parts of packaging and helping to give advice about what's good and what's bad and where to source certain things. So we try also partner with brands that have shared values, as I feel you can achieve a lot more if you're both trying to get to the same place. In terms of this exact example, just out of interest, so this is where we've done it on a hang tag. We've used Intelligent. So we have built a model that has all of our press sizes and things like that, so that if you change the dimensions to suit that, you get less waste. For this example, the South African brand Milady's changed the size from 35 by 115 mils to 40 by 70, which meant that they managed to get 42 labels per big sheet on a litho press, which means that the waste went down considerably. There was a cost saving of almost 30%. And then we often say, use the cost saving, go from a virgin FSC to 100% recycled FSC if there is a cost difference in that region, for example. So we've put in these environmental metrics linked to it using the HIG MSI. We're a member of the Sustainable Apparel Coalition, so we get access to the HIG MSI database, and we've pegged their LCA data to data for our products. So our woven labels, we have the same, but just on this paper example, you can see your paper saving in kilograms there. That's just over a ton with that change in dimensions. There's your number of trees if they both happen to be virgin. Your water scarcity footprint, which is basically like how much water is used put against how much the ecosystem and human beings need in an area. So it's a measure of impact. The energy saved from a resource depletion point of view. So in terms of like the fossil fuels needed to make this product and ship it, and then the carbon emissions. So this is what I meant about when we're trying to show the customer, this is what happens when you have this amount of waste saved. And understanding this, I think, helps your decisions to know that a small impact over big volumes, because if you, as you said, with the amount of packaging that's around the world, the most important thing is to just reduce first up. I mean, it makes sense from an economic point of view as well. So it's just what we think is like taking a fairly sort of simple design concept and just kind of extrapolating it to make it very user-friendly.
Thank you. Do you have any other specific recommendations for brands in relation to their strategy?
So I'd say for larger brands, kind of like what I mentioned about the shared goals with like big attention to detail is quite important. But then also for larger brands, something that's more important is knowing the like transparency and traceability of your supplier. That's huge. You need to know how your trims, how your packaging, etc., is being made from a environmental and socioeconomic standpoint. You need to know where they come from, if they have relevant certifications like GRS or GOTS, to know that you have the right content. And then for smaller brands, I'd say the same types of things are relevant, but then also to go with a supplier that can sort of help to guide you through the first steps of it, so that it's not costly for one, and that you can learn to kind of get the low-hanging fruit first in sustainability. We generally work with medium to larger brands, but if there's brands like, for example, we work with a company called Sealand Gear here, who are a small upcycling brand from Cape Town. So we've worked with them on smaller orders and some like RFID solution because we believe in their mission, you know. So it's about trying to find the shared value approach.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to share before we go into the video relating to your recommendations or brands you've worked with?
Yeah, so maybe just to touch on what's on the slides there, in terms of like some of our objectives at the moment for this year, we're busy doing a lot of like impact measuring with HIG, the environmental and social model. We're doing all of our facilities to check to sort of monitor their environmental impact and set improvement plans. We've done a few facilities for a number of years, but we're doing all of them this year for the environmental and the social. We're currently busy with some target setting for water, energy, GHG emissions. For GHG emissions, we're looking to set science-based targets. For water, we're going to be looking at using the WWF framework to set water-specific targets, because setting a target in Cape Town means something completely different to China. And then lastly, in terms of the social side, as I said, we're using the Higgs social model, which then uses SLCP to verify. And then we've also committed to the UN Global Compact. And with that, we have to write a communication of progress report this year to show how we've improved in these social aspects. So that's the 10 principles of the compact, and also specifically Sustainable Development Goal 3 and 5, which we thought were quite relevant for our business.
I think you're going to be quite busy, Jimmy. Your work's cut out for you.
I keep being reminded of the reports yet to come this year.
Well, we've got some questions coming through in the chat. So
sure.
If we move into the video, then feel free to answer those direct. And I also wanted to mention that Jimmy will be in a breakout later. So if you have questions, you can ask them directly there also.
When our clients provide a brief, they usually provide the label dimensions they want, but don't have the production expertise to know whether that design maximizes raw material utilization. This could mean that they unknowingly pay extra for raw materials, which may end up in landfill. Our award-winning product re-engineering platform, Intelligent, quickly redesigns a customer's label to ensure maximum efficiency and minimization of waste. Such simple dimensional changes result in more sustainable and cost-effective labels, all without compromising on aesthetics and quality. Cost savings generated by Intelligent can either be banked by the customer or reinvested into furthering the sustainable attributes of the product by adopting materials with lower environmental impacts. ITL, your label is your brand. Put it in safe hands.
All right.
Thanks, Tamsin. There is one good question there that I actually just noticed that's a really valid one.
Sure.
About how do you find out your supplier's credentials, which is actually such a good question. Like, how do you know if they have GRS or like FSC, for example? So, and you often have to dig a bit. I mean, I've even had to do it when we're trying to find suppliers of like boards, for example. So you can go search FSC database. You would hope that brands or that suppliers will tell you these things and have these things on their website, which is in the interest of transparency. But in terms of trying to find it out, I know that there's a bit of work being done by something called OAR, the Open Apparel Registry, which is looking to sort of map textile suppliers around the world. I'm not sure if they have info about credentials, but I think trying to learn about what the credentials mean is important, and then outright ask the questions. Do you have these? Can I see your GRS can I see your GS certificate, for example? Like when we're sourcing things that have recycled content, we insist on a GS certificate to make sure that we know that something has the certain amount of recycled or organic content that we say. Because with a long convoluted supply chain, again, I mean, that's why these things have chain of custody, to ensure that it gets maintained up until the consumer. But yeah, try find online, and then I think asking them outright for the ones that you're concerned about is probably best.
Jimmy, we're creating some content with ITL, so perhaps that's something we can touch on as well.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to mention that we have some resources and code that can help you. We have our director of content in the space. So Melanie, I don't know if you might be able to share in the chat some relevant content. We did tag a couple of articles in the Co-Expo hub on how to know whether your supplier is ethical and things to look out for. And there's a great deal on labeling also, but our goal is to make it easy to cut through the complexity, and I hope that's what we can do with some of the content we create in partnership with you. So thank you. Hear more from Jimmy in the breakout. And so now I'd like to pass on to better packaging. So we have now better packaging. We have Carly in the room who has is coming in at 1 o'clock or later her own time. Thank you for your commitment to this. And we will also be hearing a video of the CEO, Rebecca Percasky. But first of all, Carly, would you like to just say a few words about better packaging?
Yeah, thanks, Tamsin. It's awesome to be here, and it's a great prezzo, Jimmy. It's cool to see that intelligent stuff at work. It's really awesome. So the Better Packaging Co. as a New Zealand-based company that specialises in sustainable packaging, predominantly for the e-commerce and fashion industry. I've been with Better Packaging for 2 years, and prior to that, my background was 12 years working in the apparel manufacturing industry. So I come sort of knowing all of the roadblocks and the curly questions. I worked on a sustainable fashion brand that was trying to, tick all of the boxes. And what I learned through that experience was how much misinformation there is in the space and how hard it can be to know what you can trust and what's legitimate. What I love about working for the Better Packaging Co. is that the founders are super, super authentic. They're constantly looking for new and better innovations, ways that they can review our processes, what else we can do to make things more sustainable. They're working with universities on new technologies, and they care about the waste for everyone, not just for big brands. So we offer sustainable packaging for the compost packs, which is the courier mailers you can see on the screen there, for e-commerce, from down to the minimums. So the smallest pack is 20 pieces. So looking after the little guys there as well, which is amazing. I will get onto Bex's video and I can go into some more detail in the breakout rooms.
Brilliant, thank you. And we are cognizant that it will be even later for those breakout rooms. So we hope to get those started as soon as possible.
No worries. No, it's great to be here.
Welcome. So yes, we'll play your video.
Hi, I'm Bex, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Better Packaging Co. And I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Imagine a world where rubbish bins as we know them don't exist, where plastic waste has a value, it's worth so much people dig up old landfills just to collect it, where packaging gave back, cleaned up our oceans, sucked up greenhouse gases and provided nutrients to the soil when it broke down, where everything you bought was repairable, recyclable and regenerative. We imagine that world every day at Better Packaging, and we're on a mission to create it. After 2 years of extensive design and research, we launched the Better Packaging in March 2018 and began selling a home compostable courier satchel within July of that year. That first run sold out within 2 weeks, so we doubled it for the next. That sold out within weeks, and we've been running flat out ever since. These days, we have some of the world's most iconic brands using our packaging. They range from large global brands like DHL and L'Oreal and Cartier to small Etsy sellers you may never have heard of. But across the boards, brands are desperate for ways to improve the sustainability of their supply chains, and we make it super easy for them to do so. Our customers and their customers post about our products on social media. We joke we've become the first Insta-worthy courier satchel. Our products will break down in a home compost after 180 days, but are still as tough, durable and waterproof as the plastic ones they are replacing, which means our customers' processes don't have to change. We've sold over 50 million bags in less than 3 years and diverted over 833 tonnes of waste. It's a number we're incredibly proud of and one that keeps growing. We now make a range of packaging. We set out to create a brand that was edgy, fun and informative. And in the past, sustainable products have typically been quite daggy and by default an offensive shade of fluoro green. We wanted to create something that was not only good for the environment, but aesthetically pleasing as well. It's important to note that when my business partner Kate and I set out to design a more sustainable courier satchel, we weren't on a mission to produce a home compost, although that is where we ended up. We were set out to produce something better, and that became the foundation of our company and its name, the Better Packaging Co. Now we make a range of compostable packaging designed for e-commerce and more. We've got bubble mailers, flow wrap, inserts, pallet wrap, hanging garment bags, and much more in the pipeline. The opportunities for better packaging is limitless. We're not only using innovative materials, but clever designs to ensure that our products are reused as many times as possible. This is an example, a courier satchel that can also be used as gift wrapping. We call it I'm Gifted. We've also solved most of the limitations around printing that compostable bags have faced in the past and can now make a certified home compostable Coex printed bag with white base colours and multi-colours. We realised that not everyone has access to a home compost, so we launched Be Collected, a network of drop-off locations for people who don't, to ensure that our better packaging gets disposed of correctly. R&D is key to our business, and we're constantly working on new solutions, and we've just launched a reusable courier satchel, Swap. It's made from the material that we have created and can be used hundreds of times. It's recyclable, but if it ends up in nature, it's also compostable. Not only do we want to create a waste-free world, but we're striving to create a better way of working together that is underpinned by our core values. We are determined to do this right. As a leader in the industry, we're constantly innovating and know how important it is to set the highest standards. We guarantee our products' quality and ensure they conform to the most rigorous global certifications. As well as joining a number of packaging forums, we were original signatories on the Ellen MacArthur New Plastic Economy. We are also active members of the Australian Bioplastics Association and APAC. Recently becoming B Corp certified was an important milestone. Certified B Corps are a new kind of business that balances purpose and profit. We're legally required to consider the impact of our decisions on our workers, customers, suppliers, communities, and the environment. We use the B Corp framework to build our business from the ground up. To further measure our impact this year, we have carried out LCAs on our 2 most popular products and are offsetting the emissions on these by 200%. We design all of our products according to the Ellen MacArthur circular economy, where resources are kept in use for as long as possible. The maximum value is extracted from the whilst in use, and at the end of the product's service life, materials are recovered and regenerated. But we're not stopping there. We're also on the brink of an epic breakthrough on sustainable packaging. Over the past 3 years, as we've introduced sustainable packagings to our hungry market, we've realised zero waste isn't enough. It isn't enough to maintain the status quo. We need solutions that improve the state of the environment while also doing their job. Imagine if packaging actually reduced the amount of pollution in the environment. By bringing together a number of proprietary concepts and technologies, we've discovered a way just to do that. We've created the first social impact waste negative packaging. The range will include mailers, padded mailers, boxes, garment bags, and more, all made from either pollution and/or waste. And we will deliver on even more UN Sustainable Development Goals. We've got a serious unsustainable waste issue stemming from a convenience and consumption addicted society. We need to buy less stuff, buy better, and when we do buy natural or secondhand, and most importantly, buy things that are meant to last and not be thrown away after 5 minutes. The good news is things are already changing, and not necessarily in the places you'd expect. I saw a group of tradies walking down Quay Street the other day with a range of pastel keep cups in their hands. It hit me, this is becoming mainstream. You know, when the Queen bans single-use plastic from the palace, it's on everyone's minds. Each one of us has a choice to be making today. Either step up to it right now or wait it out and get left behind.
Brilliant. Thank you. Very inspiring. Incredible commitment there across almost every aspect of solving problems with creativity and entrepreneurship. So if you would like to connect and learn more about better packaging, Carly is in the room and will be joining the breakout. But I would now like to, before I hand on, I just wanted to mention that we're getting a lot of questions in the chat right now, some really interesting ones. So if you're an exhibitor in this session, please do have a look. Some of them are targeted at some of you, some of them are general questions I'm sure you'll be able to answer. So I'm going to pass to Andy, who's our head of suppliers, who's going to introduce some of the other suppliers showcasing in this session.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone, so much. It's been a fantastic session so far. We're now going to move on to introduce you to a few suppliers who are exhibitors in this session. And we will show a slide on each, and the content of that slide is taken from their business profile. So to find out more about these businesses, you can simply click on the link that will appear in chat, which Manisha is going to post, and you can then look at their business profile and connect with them there. And then, of course, they will also be in the breakout sessions at the end of this meeting in just a few minutes. And then we'll have a good half hour altogether in those breakout sessions where you can ask them questions and they can share more with you. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce you to Aquapack Polymers Limited, and they developed Hydropol, which enables traditional plastics to be replaced so that packaging can be recyclable whilst retaining functionality. It's fully dissolvable, non-toxic to the environment, and marine safe. And so I will hand over to Elizabeth, the technical manager, who is going to, in 60 seconds, explain a little bit more.
Hi everyone, it's really good to be here today. Thanks for letting me speak. So just Hydropol is our new material that we're releasing on the world here. It, as mentioned by Andy, the end of life is really key. It's also really functional, so it's a really strong material, so it's really good for like mailer bags. It's got good barriers for food packaging. But the end of life is where it's really key, so it's biodegradable. So if it goes in composting or in a biogas unit or accidentally released, then it will biodegrade. And the water solubility is really key to this as well. So one of our, I don't know if anyone can see my video, but often combinations with paper. So you can give the paper the strength that you need, the barrier you need, but because of the water solubility, it will dissolve in the paper repulping process. So the fibers are released and you have a fully recycled product. So yeah, thank you for putting that on there. So I don't know if anyone saw that when I put my video up there, but this is a mailer bag, if I can get the distance right, made with paper and Hydropol. So it's a way of giving the paper the extra strength and barriers you might need, and it's recyclable because of the water solubility of the Hydropol. And then the biodegradability is then key in some of our other applications as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's superb. Yeah, so we can find out more in just a few moments in the breakout session. Thank you. That's brilliant. Moving on to Deeps Textiles, who are in Kolkata, India. They've been implementing zero waste initiatives since 2018, and they use organic dyes and colors for printing and ensure that all their trims, labels, and packaging are all organic. They're Fair Trade certified under FlowCert, and they're also GOTS certified. And so Sumadeep, I believe, is in the room, who will share a little more.
Hi, Andy, and everybody else who's here. So our company and our products are as ITL and the Better Packaging are on the frontier of packaging innovation right now, as well as Aquapack. We are a little bit on the slow end of and highlighting on the single-use nature of packaging. So we are making products which cater and service almost every industry, starting from groceries to fashion products to cosmetics. And we are trying to utilize our cotton and recycled and organic both, and provide solutions to our customers to provide packaging that would importantly facilitate the reusable nature of packaging. So they get to reuse the products. The products are conceptually made in a way that the customers get to retain the packages that we make and use it over the course of the lifetime of the product and beyond that. So those are mainly conceptual design-based solutions that we provide to all our buyers, regardless of whichever industry they operate from. So I'll try to keep that short and limited.
That's brilliantly done. A great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, so by keeping it short, we're going to have more time in breakout rooms, which is brilliant, because that's where two-way conversations can happen. So moving on to eco garment bags. They were founded in response to the problem of single-use polythene bags in the fashion industry. And founder and CEO Rebecca is here to tell us some more.
Thank you. Well, Elizabeth, speaking for Aquapack, has already covered quite a bit for me. My background is in the fashion industry, and I was looking for the best solution to the poly bag, because seeing every day garments packaged into poly bags, knowing that they're single use, is something that was a great deal of distress for myself working in the industry. So we use Aquapack's technology, Hydropol. As Elizabeth said, it's compostable, it's biodegradable, it can be dissolved in hot water, and it won't cause any harm if it is accidentally released into the environment. So my focus has really been to find a solution to fashion's poly bag, and this is how it looks. So we've got a clear, excellent, strong material, which is perfect for transporting fashion products from factory to warehouse. Importantly, and I really appreciate that a few of the speakers have mentioned this as well, that we are taking care as well of the smaller brands. It's really important for those brands to be able to have access to the products as well. So we actually offer our bags from only 500 units. And of course, also working with the large brands, we're actually doing the production in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, close to where the garment producing factories are. So yes, targeted, we're offering everything, our products to the smaller brands, medium-sized brands, and to the large brands. The point is really to get the solution out there.
Superb. Thank you, Rebecca. That's great. Really, really great. Looking forward to hearing more in the breakout session. Finally, Sasha Association for Craft Producers. They're a fair trade social enterprise based in India, set up in 1978. They enable small producers to access the market and facilitate design and technical support, social and economic empowerment. They're a guaranteed member of the WFTO, the World Fair Trade Organization, and they're engaged with over 5,000 artisans. So handing back to Tamsin now, who will introduce the breakout rooms.
Thank you, Andy. So I can see we've got some robust debate starting to happen in the chat already, which is fantastic. And looking forward to taking that forward into the breakout rooms. So they do give you the chance to speak. We can unmute your microphone. We have a room full of experts, people who are both practitioners, suppliers, brands who've done this, people who've studied this. So it's your chance to get answers. So we have 2 breakout rooms today. We've organized suppliers into 2 of them, but letting you know that you can move from one to the other if you want to. Breakout rooms will run until 5:50, at which time there will be quite a hard stop and you'll be thrown back into the main space where we'll introduce you to some of the things that are happening next. So in breakout room 1, packaging and labels. So there you can find Better Packaging, ITL and Aquapack. And in breakout room 2, which we've called Bags for Life, but it is much more than that. You can connect with Sasha Association for Crafts, Eco Garment Bags and Deeps Textiles. So difficult choice. I'm going to pass to Ellie to tell you a bit more how you can get into these rooms. I'm going to be managing room 1, so I may pop out as soon as people start moving there so that there's a host for that room. And a special thank you to our two partners, ITL and Better Packaging. What a pleasure to learn more about what you do and to hear from you, and greatly looking forward to the content that's going to come out of this. Thank you.